Hello, this is Mr. Stansbury. I'm going to take you through the notes on tangent lines. Okay, at the end of this, you should be able to say I can use relationships between tangents and radii of a circle to solve problems. All right, so first thing, what is a tangent line? A tangent line is a straight line that intersects a curved line at exactly one point. And we'll see this used a lot on a circle. So here's our circle. And then here's our line that hits that circle just at one point, and that's called the point of tangency. Okay, a simple real life example of this would be if you take a ball and put it on a table right at the point where the ball is touching the table is called the point of tangency. All right, tangent lines are perpendicular to the radius and or diameter at the point of tangency, meaning if you take this line right here and you draw this tangent line here and draw a line, the radius from the middle of the circle right to where that point of tangency is, it will always make a right angle with this tangent line. Okay, so with that, given that xy is tangent to circle O, find the radius r. So, important thing to note is that we know that this here has to be a right angle because of what we just learned up there above. So what we're trying to figure out is this r here. So we've got a right triangle, so we can simply do a squared plus b squared equals c squared, right? Important part is the hypotenuse always has to be the c squared. So that's 42 squared. And then either one of these can be a, so let's do r squared plus 36 squared equals 42. And now we just get our calculator out and away we go. So 36 squared is 1296. So we have r squared plus 1296 equals 42 squared. Gives us 1764. Right? Now we're going to want to move our 1296 minus 1296 from both sides, and we get that r squared is going to be, we already have 1764, so it's minus 1296 from that, and we get 468. So then our last step is to simply take the square root of that to figure out what our r is. So we square root, and we already have 468 in there, so I'm going to push second and then answer. And that will give us 6 root 13. Let's do the decimal answer. That's always a little bit more understandable, at least for me. 21.6. 21.6, and this is going to be feet. So the radius is about 21.6 feet. Okay? All right, let's look at another example here. A couple of examples, and we'll call this good. All right, find the segment length indicated. Assume that lines that appear to be tangent are tangent. So that means that this is a right angle, that's a right angle. These are all right angles in here, which are going to help us figure all this stuff out. So again, same thing. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. It looks like we're going to do that on almost all of these. Oh yeah, we'll do that on all of these up here. We'll do that down here too, and then got a little something different to figure out on that. But anyway, so hypotenuse is actually this right here is the question mark. It's not the whole hypotenuse, but just this part. So, but let's figure out what this C length right here is. So we're going to do 6.4 squared plus 12 squared equals C squared, right? So 6.4 squared plus 12 squared gives us 184.96. 184.96 equals c squared. So then we square root both of those to get what c is. So we do second square root. And again, instead of entering that back in, I do second answer, 13.6. Now that's this entire length right here, but they only want to know what this question mark right here is. So here's the thing. This is a radius. This here is also a radius. So this is 6.4. So what we're going to have to do to figure out what the question mark equals is take our 13.6, which is this whole length, minus the 6.4. not 6 times 4, but 6.4. Let's make that look a little bit more obvious. There we go. And so then we get that our question mark is going to equal, what, 7.2 on that one right there. Okay. B, same idea, a squared, b squared, c squared. So we'll do 7.8 squared plus 16 squared is going to equal c squared. So let's do our math on that. 7.8 squared plus 16 squared gives us 316.84 is our c squared. So we square root both of those to figure out what just the c is. So we, square root our answer, 17.8 is this entire length here. So question mark is going to equal the 17.8 minus this 7.8, right? Which is going to end up giving us 10 for our question mark right there. All right, we got 3 to go. But before we do that, let's take a quick video break, shall we? Comedy break. All right. All right, C. A squared, B squared, C squared here. So this will be a little different. 3.6 squared plus question mark squared is going to equal not necessarily just this 2.4. That's just this part right here. But we also know that this and these are both radii. So they have to be the same. So this is 3.6. So we're going to take 3.6 plus 2.4 to give us 3.5. That's going to give us a total of 6. So that's going to equal 6 squared. Okay. So now we calculate that. So 3.6 squared is going to give us 12.96 plus question mark equals 6 squared is 36. So subtract 12.96 from both sides. And we get that question mark is going to equal, let's see, 36 minus 12.96, right, gives us 23.04. But sorry, that's question mark squared, so we got to square root both of those to get that question mark, what we're looking for. So we square root our answer, we get 4.8. Okay. All right, last couple here. Determine if AB is tangent to the circle. So, let's see. If AB is tangent to the circle, then that means that A squared plus B squared has to equal C squared. So we're trying to figure out really if these here are indeed right angles. Okay. So this right here is 5.5. That's the radius. So that means this here is going to be 5.5 here as well. So that means this entire side length here is 11. So we'd have 11 squared plus 9.6 squared. Does that equal 12.7 squared? That's all we got to figure out. And if it does, that means it's a tangent, because that means that this is a right angle. If these are not true, if this is not true, then it's not a tangent to the circle. All right. Let's calculate this out. Let's see, 11 squared plus 9.6 squared gives us 213.16. Now, does that equal 12.7 squared? That gives us 161.29. This is not true, so therefore that is not a right angle. So that means this is not AB is not a tangent to the circle. Okay? Let's try the same idea with this here. We got 13.6. Let's see. This is 6.8. This is 10.2. So this is 10.2 as well. So 13.6 squared plus 10.2 squared has to equal, let's see, 6.8 plus 10.2 is going to give us 17. That has to equal 17 squared, right? So let's check and see if that works. So 13.6 squared plus 10.2 squared gives us 289. Does that equal 17 squared? Let's check it out. 17 squared gives us, in fact, 289. So that is true. So that means that AB is the tangent to the circle. Okay? All right, that's all we have for the notes for tangent lines. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Thanks.